home of where the best stuff is the wet stuff, and the wet stuff is the best stuff. Welcome to Fishy Biz Aquatics. What's cracking?
First of all, let's get this out the way. I'm the Biz, Fishy Biz Aquatics, and at Fishy Biz Aquatics on YouTube, you'll get an informative channel that's fun and amazing with one of the hottest live streams called The Hot Spot. You don't want to miss that on Mondays at 9. Plus, you can catch me at Aquashellas on panel, in person. Come chop it up with your boy, and always get greeted with the what's cracking, educating today's youth and the masses. Get at me, just a cool channel.
Fishy Biz Aquatics, professional aquatics with the amateur touch. So amateurs, yep, get that professional look.
Y'all must have forgot.
This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised.
Let's go!
What's cracking? You already know it's in here with your boy the Biz. We got the Dolphins dolphining out here. The Biz is bizzing up here. What's cracking, everybody? I know I didn't put out like the whole little thing until late, but you already know how I do. Busy Fish Chat, can you hear me out there? One time, check one, check two. I'm on my mic. My mic sound nice. Yo, can y'all hear me out there? What's cracking? Throw some ones in the chat. Let me know if you hear me. In the meantime, in the between time, you already know I'm about to get this little background music going on the ones and twos real quick on the pop. Oh yeah. We in this thing right here one time. All right. I see you. That's what's up. Jerry's Fish Room, what's cracking? I see you popping. Garcia's up in this thing, man. We're gonna get these drops in here in a minute, man. I just want to make sure that I ain't seen you guys since last week, man. It's good to see you guys out here and coming back into place to be. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me. I'm Fishy Biz Aquatics right here on YouTube. And I'm getting a call real quick. Yo, what's cracking? I ain't nothing checking. You coming up? Yeah, man. I need you to come up here and tell these people what's cracking, man. What's up with this new thing that's going down, and see how it's affecting folk. Facts. So yeah, you need to come up here and tell the people. All right, bet. You want me to send it, or I was going to put it in the chat for anybody who wanted to come up, but I'll send it to you right now. Whichever way you want to do it. All right, cool. But there we go. I don't know if you know the person that I know that has his own fish farm, fish ranch. I know Garcia knows out there. But he is going to come up because he doesn't believe that everybody knows the implications that it's possible if this law is passed. He hit me up, and I was like, yo, come on up. And anybody else Floridian that has a pet shop or buys pets or knows anything about this law, come and let me know, because I don't know anything about it out here you guys are down there. So I'm up here in St. Louis. So let me know what's going on, man, and how serious this thing is. How does it affect you? What's cracking? That's where we at right now. But I'm gonna say what's up to everybody in the Busy Fish Chat. Y'all already know, man. Y'all give me life on these Mondays because I went to bed late, woke up early, had to deal with these kids in these last days of school. Man. It's all crazy right now. Quick. We have a new Costco that's been built across the street. They're starting to build a Raising Cane's They're also going to build a Deerbergs. They're also going to build a Chick-fil-A, and this is all in front of my mom's house. So they are taking over my mom's house to get more room, which means they got to move out. So I got to move my mom, who you all know for a year has been lame. She can't move her digits, so she can't get up, move her arms and legs. My dad's in the wheelchair, so it's up to me, my sister, and my cousin to move them out. So I've been dealing with that on Sundays. I also, for those that don't know, I have to going under the knife on June 1st. That's first of next month. Apparently I've had like a hernia for a while, so I got to go get a hernia surgery. So that should be fun. I haven't done that before. They said it's pretty much in and out. I get to get a robo doctor assistant. They made sure to say that, and they said that, that's like better than, regular human hands. So technology, baby, we're gonna rock with it. So a little bit nervous. I need to make sure that I'm good though, because I got a lot of people I'm caring for, so I got to make sure that I'm straight. So that's the rundown with me and everything that I got going on. So other than that, let's get into this Busy Fish chat and let's see who made it first. Look at this. Petty Patty said, "Yay, Aqua Stunk is gonna be on." Unfortunately, Aqua Stunk is not gonna be on. He gracefully bowed out. Apparently, he only got 3 hours last night, so he should probably be writing Betty by. But knowing him, he might pop in. Jerry's Fish Room was cracking, but you know what? I got to do this for Patty because I did this for Patty. So Patty got to get it in. Let's go, Patty, and her wonderful, wonderful wet tuna. That's right. If you don't know nothing about Patty.
Tuna patties. Tuna patties. I dropped the screw in the tuna.
Right on, Patty. Thank you for being up in here. Let's see what's up. What's next? We got Melly Mel on the Really Real Legacy Hobbyist. Always been a long time friend of the channel, man. Appreciate you. And then we got Garcia is up in this thing.
Garcia Aquatics here.
Garcia is up in this thing. You already know where he at. He's always going to be here right here, Monday, 9 o'clock. Also a member of the channel. I really appreciate Garcia doing this thing up here. We also got Watts Water, a.k.a. J Watts. And you all don't know what the J stands for, so here it is.
Why the f*** is it called a Jeffrey?
Because who could be scared of a Jeffrey?
I'm Jeffrey. I've just moved in.
Jay Watts, Jay Wiggity, good seeing you, man. I gotta hit you up too, man, because we gotta break bread. Talk. Yeah, Watts is up in here. Jerry's Fish Room is up in this thing. Jay Fish Room, kicked it with him. Brandon, the blind fish keeper, and Ben Ochart, who was my guest up here last week. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, definitely worth a replay. Definitely check him out. Ben Ochart was in this mug. Answering questions and speaking the Dun language. Also had a great lunch with them last year at the last Aquashella that was in Florida. Peas and Haps Forever is in this thing. What's cracking? Toski, my Toski. Toski, also a long-time member of the channel. Really appreciate Toski. Really appreciate Garcia. All my members, I really appreciate you all. Definitely give back to the channel. I'm trying to make it happen. And I'm moving down. Jimmy's Aquariums and Ariums. We right up in here. Right on, Jimmy P. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming up in here. Atkins Nature Aquariums. Thank you for coming in, Atkins. Fish Fam link. Always the Fish Fam link. They're going to throw the Fish Fam link. If you want to find them, you can find them right there on the Fish Fam link. Thank you for coming through. And here's Dan Consolidated Fish Farms. That's Dan the Man. Aquarium Insider. Mike's Love Life was cracking, man. Check out Mike and his whole crew on Sundays. Mike, go ahead and drop your Sunday time on there so I can make sure I get you plugged in. Mike is doing his thing. He is saving sick fish, one fish at a time, rocking it out. Mike loves Life Aquatics. Definitely go check him and his boys out. Troy McClarty's been putting some stuff out. Check out Mike's shorts too, man. He's been saving his fish. He's got his, what was that, a Pacu that had the messed up eye? Or was that an Oscar? One of them big fish, man. He's been fixing them up, man. Definitely check out Mike Loves Life Aquatics. Gina is up in this thing. Gina. Hey, yo, me and Gina are going to go live. Listen, hold on.
Damn, Gina.
Yeah, Gina, listen. I went in there. All right. I went in there on my lunch break. They've got some real live seafood up in there. We could really kind of just like go in there and we could spend some time in there on the live. So definitely keep checking out for us, man. I'm trying to do a Sunday if Gina's free, and if I can remember, me and Gina are going to go live right here on Fishy Biz Aquatics. We're going to walk inside the International Oriental grocery store. They got some stuff in there, man. They got some stuff in there. Oh, man. And I made it to the bottom. And here's Mike Loves Life Aquatics every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Right on, for sure. Always. All right. Now, this is a live for Floridians, man. I would like for people of Florida, man, if you sell fish or pet store owners or no pet store owners or know what's going on, they are in lieu of getting a law passed, which is going to put a lot of people out of commission. I can't talk about it. So I'm going to have my partner from down there that actually owns his own fish farm, who is his livelihood. So he's going to let us know like what's cracking, man. So I am going to put a link down. So he's going to catch this link first. And then if anybody else has anyone want to add in and jump up, please do, man. Please do. All right. Always respect the boundaries. You already know how it is. We could get crazy here in the Busy Fish chat when we just start putting stuff up. But here is the link. Booyah. All right. Hit that link and come on up. Can y'all? All right. Don't even get me started, says Petty Patty. Oh, man. All right, Jerry, I see you, Jerry. All right, I put the link up. Is that link clickable? Can you guys get on that? You know what I'm saying? Yep, you sure can, because here he is. Dan the man is here. Let me turn down the music. What up, Dan? What's cracking?
Oh, man, what's going on, man? Sorry, it's a little dark where I'm at. I'm in the middle of, quarantining my saltwater fish, and then the light room is where I got the freshwater, so I'm right in the middle of everything at the moment.
Dude, Dan was like freshwater haven for me when I went up there to visit him. Balls hot out there in Florida in the summertime. But now, wait, now this is not your first take at saltwater, but is it going to be like your first consistent selling of saltwater?
This is my first consistent time doing it retail. So okay. I bred clown. When I was teaching, I used to breed clowns. I bred clowns in the past, did a lot with them. Never did a lot with reef tanks per se, but I was real heavy into like the fish breeding side of stuff. So okay. That was kind of where I was at for a while. But this is my first real take at retail saltwater.
Very nice. Very nice. Right on, Melly Mel, celebrating your 5-year anniversary. Me and you about in the same boat, man. I got 5 years coming up in January, or maybe it might be 6. So let's get with it, Dan. Jimmy P says all the crap that's wrong in our country and these peckerheads are picking on fish. He wants to know what's the deal. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So let us know now. What is this law basically saying?
So it's gone and made a couple different changes, but let me start back at how it's created what I call incrementalism. This just started with reptiles and invasive reptiles a few years ago, and it slowly drifted into all pets. And right now, what's happening is there is a vote coming up. So the way Florida works now, because that'll probably be easier to give you context. If there are species that are illegal, we put them on what's called a blacklist. A blacklist is meaning you can't have that species. So that's like stingray. Stingrays are conditional because some people are allowed to ship them if they decide they're going to ship them out of the state, but you can't have them as a pet. So that's like black arowanas. It's certain turtles now, like a lot of reptiles, all your pythons and stuff. So that's how it's regulated.
Are you guys snakeheads? You can't have those, or is that?
Nope, no snakeheads, no channas. Any kind of channa species is all illegal. Okay. So if it's on a list, there literally can't be more than, let's say, 25 fish species on this list. And I don't think the pet industry is opposed to saying, hey, there's probably some other fish that could hurt our environment. Let's probably get rid of those. And from a blacklist perspective, it makes a lot of sense because, Florida trades, and this is a number that just came up recently, Florida trades on average between 20 and 30,000 animals a year. 30,000 different species. That goes across freshwater, saltwater, corals, down to your reptiles, birds, amphibians, everything. Okay. So 30,000-ish species, right? So because of all the invasive issues, and it's a lot of reptile issues, to be completely honest, down south, but fish still have the same issue, right? We have some invasive species that, have issues. Right. So our Fish and Wildlife Commission here has decided they are going to implement what's known as a whitelist instead of a blacklist. So what that means is if that animal is not on this list, you cannot sell it, bring it in, do anything with it for any reason. Which sounds like it's not a huge issue. But what happens with a whitelist is there's a lot of issues with it, but I'll give you the two main points. The number one issue with it is it's almost not enforceable from a law standpoint because of Florida's diverse and humongous aquaculture type industry, right? And pet trade industry. Like we trade probably the most animals in almost than any other state, right? So an FWC officer going into an establishment like mine, and let's say I have 1,000, let's say I have 500. So if I have 500 different species, he's got to be able to identify those and compare them against a list that should have about 20,000 species on it. Right?
Okay.
Now, that is an arduous task that is almost not even possible. And I'll give you an example recently in Florida, if you haven't seen the video. Florida enacted some reptile laws recently that has taken people's pets that were considered conditional species, meaning if you had a special permit, you could keep them, to completely illegal. You couldn't have them. And they gave the people 90 days to get rid of them. Well, one guy had 235 snakes. He told FWC he couldn't get rid of all of them. He was trying to, but asked them what to do. So what happens? They come to his establishment and they decide they're going to euthanize all of his snakes.
Holy snap.
Snakes that are actually considered invasive, some that have never established in Florida. And here's the best part. There were only 3 kinds of snakes at this establishment. And they killed one that was 100% legal and was pregnant with about $100,000 worth of babies.
Oh, God.
If you go to YouTube and type in FWC kill snake killing, you will find this video of them slaughtering these captive bred animals, right? And they didn't even kill them by their own rules. The rule and how they killed them was all done in an emergency situation, not done how they did it. So they don't know how to even enforce their own laws on 3 species. What chance do they have enforcing 20 to 30,000? Yeah.
Go ahead.
And just like that, and the bigger issue is, okay, that was 3 snakes. What are they going to do and say my, hypercistrus pleco, and they can't tell the difference between that and another kind of pleco, and they think it's illegal? What are they going to do? They're going to fine you and could be jail time.
Oh, wow.
For snakes, it was like a $5,000 fine per animal and 2 counts, which was like 6 months in jail per count.
Oh, my God. It's crazy.
And it wasn't even an illegal species. So there's a lot of issues with trying to enforce a whitelist. In areas and states they have enforced a whitelist, it does not work at all. They can't enforce it because they don't know the animals. And then if you look at the blacklist, any species on our list have never established in Florida. So we have a working model that works, and we just need to enhance it to make it better. And that's all we really want. We say, hey, these animals are bad. Let's put them on the bad list. Let's not create a whole nother list where like people can't have anything. And here's the catch and the caveat to all this, which makes it worse. The language around how all this is tied up is what's really gotten me scared. The language recently has changed from just a whitelist, which, by the way, to put this in perspective, they have a committee made up of experts from everywhere, from environmentalists, humane society, to federal U.S. Fish and Wildlife, all the way to industry personnel that do this for a living. There are 24 of them. The FWC people who are leading it said we want to offer up these two options, which is they're looking at two variations of a quote unquote whitelist, a species of only that list, right? Neither option is good for industry. The problem with it is now under the options they're going to be voting on is a caveat that says FWC will be doing, Atkins sees it, a bolt gun to the head for those snakes. So the caveat to these options, by the way, they're voting on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but really quickly. So the vote will basically put one of them as a proposed rule. They're going to vote on it. And the caveat is they are going to stop all importation of all animals until there is a preliminary screening done to determine if the risk to that animal is acceptable. Now, when these options came available, so there's option one, which is they want to allow all the animals in the state that are currently in commerce or trade to be allowed. The second option is, unless this animal has been through what's called a risk assessment, which is where they've evaluated how risky it is to hold that fish and how invasive or how it might establish an environment. Unless it's on this list, you can't have it. Which, to give you an idea, there are only 200 species that have ever had a risk assessment done in the state of Florida, of which FWC, I think, has done less than 50. So you're talking, you go from 30,000 animals to less than 50, and that includes everything: animals, birds, reptiles, fish, everything. Right?
Jeez.
So those are the two options they had to vote on. So the committee as a whole, which, mind you, holds a lot of environmentalists, a lot of people from different perspectives.
Right.
When they were asked to vote for option one, 16 of the 24 voted no.
Okay.
Option two, 24 of the 24 people voted no because of how much economic impact this would have on the industry. To give you a ballpark number of how many people this affects, it's a little over 10,000 people, a little about 10,000 jobs or so, and about $800 million of taxable revenue.
Oh, God.
So your entire advisory group basically said, hey, we want to implement a third option. We want to take and change this and have a third option to create an enhanced blacklist. Do you want to know what FWC did? They ignored the advice of their own their advisory group and said, no, we're going to offer the whitelist options, even though majority didn't vote for it.
So they just really taking it into their own hands, regardless on what the people are wanting, and even their own chosen voting sector has asked for.
And that caveat they added after this meeting, where they said they're going to stop everything from importing to the screening, that would shut down every pet store in the state of Florida for an undetermined amount of time. And I don't think no one's realized that really yet, because they're like, oh, they'll have a lot of species to pick from. But the way the caveat reads as it sits right now is no, they're going to stop everything from coming to the state until they determine it's right, which, by the way, they haven't given any detail as to what the process is going to look like. Is there going to be speed screening for species who are already in trade? They've done nothing of the sort. So they have to propose a rule, and then they have to go through a process of creating rules and then finalize the rule. And that happens by the next meeting in July. If it went through as sits and something similar to what they have, you would essentially have no stores able to sell anything by July, which puts a lot of people financially at risk, in debt. Bankruptcy is going to be huge, not to mention all of the jobs lost. And no one has really talked about that in it. I don't know. So I'm kind of in a weird predicament where I sit in the whole part of the supply chain. So I'm a second generation farmer. We also have a distribution company where we sell to pet stores, and we also retail fish to the public. So I do all three, and I sit on all parts of it. I can tell you there's protection for farmers right now that we're working on to deal with farmed fish. But, you know, when you can't allow species into the state, the places we would normally sell to bigger distribution companies that sell to the PetSmarts and Petcos of the world, right? They won't be able to bring in their other fish that they would have to sell with Florida fish. So you're going to end up putting Florida farms out of business as well, because there'll be no one left to run the companies. For those of you who don't know, the two largest distribution companies in the country sit in Florida, and they're the ones who distribute to all the stores in the country. Generally, they will not be here if that law went into effect as is.
Jerry, come back. Jerry, come back. I was about to put you right on here.
But anyway, so I'm trying to gather some support for some Florida stores to band together, make one voice, and kind of see what we can do from there. But then again, I don't know. We'll have to see how it votes on Thursday. There will be a live stream of the meeting from the Florida channel. I'll try to find a leak, but it'll be what happens. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm hoping it's not going to be as bad as it seems.
Oh my God, that's crazy, man. Jerry is back. I want to get Jerry up here so that he can speak on it. He is also a Florida fish hobbyist, and I am about to get him up here. But first, I want to just say what's up to Beta Aquatics. Thank you for coming in here. Angie, thank you for coming in here. I got some new faces. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for coming in. Larry D is back, baby. Larry D. All right. Let's get why are we always yelling? What's cracking? Thank you for coming in. Jerry.
So
how you doing, man?
Hey man, we're hanging. How's my brother Dan over there?
What's going on, Jerry?
Not much, man. Dan and I got some business at the end of the week, so looking forward to that.
All right.
No, I just wanted to jump. I don't have all the technical side of things. You know, I mean, Dan's been giving me most of that. What I do want to say is I don't think a lot of us hobbyists, if it wasn't for my connection with Dan and maybe that relationship, I don't think a lot of the hobbyists know what's going on. And, you know, and that's something that Dan and I talked about a little bit, but I mean, that's absolutely, you know, it's devastating and ridiculous to, you know, to just the hobbyist side. I mean, you know, from the financial side, you know, Dan's covered it. It's devastating, and we can't afford an impact like that in the state of Florida, period, or across the country, you know. And my biggest concern about this whole thing is, you know, from a hobbyist side, you know, a lot of us do this for multiple reasons, you know, some of us for even health reasons. And you start thinking about the government taking away those things that, you know, that means so much to us and actually have some health benefits to it. You know, it's just absolutely crazy, you know. And I hadn't even had a chance to talk to Dan about what they can do about coming into our house. You know, if they're going in and killing people's snakes, man, you know, what's going on with that?
And see, and the part where they're just making it up as they go sucks. Like, they don't give you like 6 months, or I mean, hell, even a realtor got to give you 30 days. But, you know, for them to just kind of make stuff up and then they're just killing and offing your animals, that sounds crazy. And then the detrimental fact of, you said what, over 8 million, 80 million?
800 million.
800 million bucks.
Dollars.
Yeah. And they're taking away from their own state.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Agnes says, to be fair, Florida has a big evasive issue, although I think it's too late. The problem's already here.
I don't think there's definitely invasive issues, but I don't think that makes it, we can't just stop other invasive from coming in. Everything on our blacklist is not established in Florida. If we establish something that enhances those protocols for other species we have, like, you know, there are fish that probably shouldn't be in the hobby, right? Especially in Florida, maybe. You know, red-tailed cats being one of them. Those fish get huge and could possibly be an issue. I don't think that means we should just stop, right? So
the big issue I have is with all you guys got human trafficking, drug trafficking, and you guys are stopping fish, man. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what are we really prioritizing right now? Like seriously. You know, I mean, we've always heard about the Everglades and the evasive issues in Florida. Like, it has its, people go down there just to see the exotic stuff that's running around there. So it brings a whole bunch of tourists at the same time. So you've got an issue that's bringing money, but then now we're talking about fish in tanks and stuff like that. And is it just because people are just haphazardly just tossing invasive species, or like that's the reason for the blacklist, correct?
Well, that's it's a loaded question. So we have several invasive species that FWC released themselves to deal with other issues. But yeah, a lot of it came from poor keeping and really just uninformed, keepers of whatever pet it would be. If it was snakes or tegus, the original thought was like, we should get rid of them and all that stuff. But to Patty's point, you have highlighted, if that person he did try to sell most of his snakes, he wasn't able to give most of them away. After the deadline of the 90 days, if he would have sent them out of state, he would have committed a federal crime that was up to like 10 years in jail.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I think you should have to get a license or something to get one of these monster fish. It's not right that they get too big and people get rid of them. That, or just let's get some better knowledgeable people before they go buy these different things to let them know like what's going on. I mean, you get Petco selling these common plecos, you know what I'm saying, and don't tell people nothing. Oh, they're so cute in this, and now they got this thing they're trying to flush down the toilet. It won't even go down. Like, dude, what is going on here? You know what I'm saying? We got to get some more knowledge out, but that's what the farms are for that you got there, Dan, because you tell people the correct way. Jerry, you're a longtime hobbyist. You can tell people, you know what to buy, you know what size, you know these different things. The whole fam is a resource for these type of things. But before they even go into the education of it, before they even go into the more sensible side of it, they go out and get the stabbing up your snakes and killing up and filleting your fish. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's nuts, man.
Yeah, it is crazy, and and I know Dan does a lot of the box store stuff, but you're right. I mean, I've walked into box stores, and they just don't take enough time to educate the ones that are selling the fish to be able to communicate with people. What's the pros and the cons, and I agree with Dan. There's certain things I'd love to see off the list. I walk into fish stores all the time. I see standard plecos. It's like everybody knows in Florida that's a problem. We, blacklist them, get rid of them. But again, you can't lump all fish in.
And that's the part. That's the part right there. They don't probably have a fish hobbyist on the panel that would say like, "Yo, I don't care if both these plecos look alike. There's thousands of them. This is the one that you need to look." And if you're not going into their actual fish tanks, looking at these fish closely before you just offing them, you just killing the tank off. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. We got Garcia coming up. Garcia, was cracking.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's up, Garcia?
What's going on, Jerry? What's up, Dan?
What's up, Garcia?
Hey, you're a little low, Garcia. You're a little low in the headphone.
How about now?
No, still low. Which is impossible for you for some reason. I don't know why you're.
How about now? You want me to talk louder? How don't you?
All right, go. We got you, Garcia. What you got going on?
All right, like I said, hello to Jerry, Dan, and the Biz.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, I signed that petition because I can't tolerate this. And it's also, when you go to the box stores, when you try to ask them even though like you already know some of the stuff, but when you ask them, they don't even have the knowledge. They just want to sell and get rid of it.
Yeah.
They just want to bring stuff in, and I don't like that. And there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that they promote those fish, and they're not even letting the people really know how big it gets. And what the people do, they just throw it out in the lake or throw it somewhere. You can't even do that. And and you think I'm gonna let them come in my house? Go ahead. You can arrest me. I'm gonna let you come in my house. Go ahead, try to get me. All these fish that I got here, even if they're on the blacklist or not on the blacklist, you ain't touching my babies. This is all my stress reliever right here.
That part. Hey, and mental health is so real right now, man. Every day I deal with 2 to 3 students that really just are dealing with like real deal heartbreak. Like they really are just into these relationships. They're really into the things they're into, and they just trying to find some sort of release. We can't even keep staff, any therapists at the school long enough to get it all. You know what I'm saying? I still have students coming in, getting more fish to populate their tanks. They haven't killed them all. They they come in with new stories of what their fish are doing, and it's just it eases their mind. They could just forget about stuff. Like this thing is seriously can help, or it could seriously harm somebody. People are on edge. It's enough stuff that's going on that you got to worry about. But now you want to take my hobby away. You want to come in here and do all this crazy stuff without any kind of like rhyme or reason. Really, you just coming in here just doing it because you just can, or you just think this is the way.
Well, they think that's the solution. There's not going to be no solution at all. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And by the way, Dan, where I could get that blacklist at?
I'll post a list on it. Most of it's I'll post a list of where the blacklist is now, but by Thursday it could be something different. It could be a whitelist by Thursday. Well, I mean, it won't be implemented, but there's a list going around of about 20 to 30,000 species that they have on this quote unquote whitelist. So
that's crazy.
Hey, Dan, quick question. Now, is this, I know that the FWC is running this committee and all that. Is this still got to go in front of the legislature?
Absolutely not. These commissioners are appointed by the governor, and they have no oversight, meaning they don't answer to no one. They can do what they want, when they want, as they please, and there is no recourse outside of a lawsuit.
So there's zero checks and balances, or if this does happen, can all the fish keepers, hobbyists throw a lawsuit at them? Is that what they're talking about? So
I've spoken with 4 lawyers over the last 5 days about what the plan of action would be. Most law firms don't want it. One, they deal with something called qualified immunity. They're government officials. You can't sue them personally. You can't even sue the state agency for losses. You can't, and it'd be really hard for a lawsuit to take on effect of like with a lot of multiple clients, if that makes sense. Meaning that if there was going to be 100 stores in this lawsuit, it would be very hard. So what I've been doing the last 3 days, I've called every store, most stores. I've probably gotten about 50 of the 125 I found. Wow. And what I'm trying to do is form a trade association. And then if it all came down to it at the end of the day and nothing was going to be approved and it was going to be as bad as we think it is, we have a trade association where we could pool our resources together in order to fight this. And that's kind of where I'm at, because there's no defense or no one's really speaking up for all the stores. So if there's any stores out there, know of any stores in Florida, man, if you could have them reach out. I'm trying to put this together. So far out of 50 stores, I've gotten 50 to say, yeah, they would not only like to help, but they understand this could go the legal route, and that's going to have some money input. And let me tell you, fighting the FWC for a rule challenge, which is what it is not cheap because of the turnaround time.
Yeah.
We only have 21 days to oppose the rule. And then from there, there's only a 30-day window when you go to administrative court. So there's not a lot of time frame for this. So I'm busting hump to get it done, everything by Thursday by the meeting time.
That's crazy.
Association formed by Friday, and then 100 and something people on board, because it doesn't work if not everyone's on board. It's too costly. No one's gonna be able to afford it.
Yeah.
But with 100 people on board, we could afford to fight it and hopefully afford to fight the real challenge, because it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Like there's a logical way out there that makes it more cost effective, which is what they have to abide by law. If there's an alternative regulatory cost that cheapens this, it's clearly a better enhanced blacklist, not a whitelist. And they haven't even done an estimate of what this would cost, which would be, I mean, billions over years. Billions over years.
Jeez.
So I don't.
Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know how this even got this far in the first place. I assume it's the ignorance of the commissioners, considering they're all land developers, private equity, hedge fund. Their seats are appointed by the governor, but the governor appoints them. I'm sure there's, they're not environmentalists. Let's talk about, the main guy pushing this is one of the commissioners is a land developer. He bought a lagoon in order to dredge it up and ruin the whole environment to build 110 condos.
Man.
Obviously he couldn't do it because he had to sell his property because he got so much pushback.
Right.
But you can't tell me that same man's for the environment. I don't know what the key deal is, but it's going to kill off a lot of businesses. And I don't understand the reasoning for this.
Gina says you have to remember with the big box stores, it's not the stores themselves, it's corporate that controls what's stocked. No good to complain to the store. So she says you have to blast the corporate social media, send in emails, call, file complaints, and have a bunch of people just on call, just going at them. Just as soon as they hang up the phone, another complaint. Like, I don't know.
Should call the governor's office because they have staff that take phone calls every day.
Gotcha.
And for corporate stores like Petco's and PetSmarts, those aren't the stores that are going to be affected because they have so little species now as a whole.
Yeah.
They're going to pay for their fish to get on this specific list and never deal with it. It's the local fish stores that are going to get crushed.
They're going to get dinged.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, touch base with me tomorrow. There's a couple places up here. I don't know if you've hit up stores, Fishy Biz. No, not you, Biz. Fishy Business in Longwood, and then Cichlid Express, and then also Mike Cichlids as well.
Okay. Yep. I know Mike. I just haven't reached out to him yet.
Okay. So, but yeah, man, it's just it's crazy.
Get done by herself.
Do we even have? I know you said you talked about it a little bit. Maybe you can talk a little more for some of, because I know it's going to have a nationwide impact. Because a lot of fish come through our state that get into the nation. Am I not correct on that?
Yeah, the two largest distribution companies are in Florida, within a county of each other, and I have no doubt they will be the first out of the state with their $200 million in revenue gone.
Crazy.
Dang, man. That sucks. What? Let's say we. I know in your head that if this thing does, what's your fail safe? What you as a farmer and retail and also seller, what's your contingency plan? What do you think of next? Like, where's your head at with that?
It depends on how severe it'll be. So my first plan, if they implement a whitelist with 20 to 30,000 species, I'll probably be able to do okay. I don't imagine that being like a humongous issue. The real issue I had with it is it really stifles new innovation and technologies and different fish that are being found. So because if you don't get it on the list, it'll cost $10,000 and about 6 to 12 months worth of research in order to get a fish put on the list.
Oh.
So that's the real issue I have with a whitelist is if it's never going to be on there, you're never going to get it. As a business owner, I can't afford $10,000 to put a species on the list. It's not affordable. So if the 20,000 happen, if it's halfway decent, then, that's half the reason we diversified into salt. Salt has while we do have the lionfish as an invasive species, it's not like I can throw a tang out in the water and it's going to survive real well. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to breed super easy. So those things, probably a little less issue with. If it comes down to everything gets shut down, I don't know if I'll have much of a choice to either make a decision to change industries or to move states.
Oh my.
We looked at Dallas, to be honest. We've looked at a handful of states already of what made sense. Dallas made a lot of sense to us because there's a good hub there for bringing in fish from other countries.
Yeah.
And a lot of good warehouses that are about an hour outside the airport. So we've looked at Dallas as an option.
And
I don't know. We really don't know.
You'll uproot the farm and take it on to Dallas if need be?
No farm, just use it for wholesale and retail. That's it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, farming will be done and gone because I don't think people realize, like, farming, while farms won't be under the same rules, if the two largest companies they sell all their fish to are gone, what are they left to do? Where are they going to sell their product? There's nothing left for them to sell because there's no one to sell to.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So the farmers will be impacted by this depending on what the rule happens down anyway. So it'll literally kill an entire, they call it the industry killer. This will kill an entire industry over something that could be, in my opinion, very easily solved with a more enhanced blacklist of species that we probably don't need to worry about or should need to worry about.
So the frustrating part about this is that you've already got a list out there that is like, why not, like you're saying, put more on that? Like, why is it a whole, what is that part? Like,
other than this is a vendetta and this is a political ploy, this is speculation. I don't know this, but these are appointed by the governor here. If you guys don't know, DeSantis is our governor down here. I have a feeling the guy somehow wants to be part of this dude's administration if he runs for office. That's the only thing I can think of, and this issue will put him at the top of the list of like, hey, he got both sides of the aisle to agree to this issue, and it pushed it through. That's my only thought process.
It's a whole tactic, and it's just a whole political tactic, and you're going to take away a whole industry. Like,
I mean, you can't convince me this guy's all about the environment when he tried to like dredge up a lagoon and kill like thousands of animals just to build condos. That same guy can't be, oh well, we have to do this because everything's the worst ever. Like, yeah, we should deal with it, but we have you have an advisory group that advises you on what to do. You didn't listen to their advice, didn't take their recommendations, and decided to do what you wanted to do, regardless of your non-experience. They're ignorant. I don't know what else to say.
Jesus.
It's not even logical, Biz. It's not even, if this was logical and they were like, look, we want to do this and put a blacklist up and we need to deal with invasive issues, I don't think no one's going to argue that point.
Right.
Okay, what do we do? How do we make this work for everybody?
Right.
No, not instead, wait, we're shutting down everything till we know. Well, if all those animals were going to be invasive out of the 30 or 40,000, wouldn't you think most of them would be by now?
Right.
Well, no, they've been in trade for 30 years, and now you're shutting the trade down for the last. Fish farming has been huge, and all the way, from import has been huge for decades. And now you're going to get rid of all of it because you don't know? Use people that are experts in the field to tell you and guide you what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. Just an idea.
Man. That's
yeah. And it's going to be crazy. Like I said, I mean, I can go to Georgia. I can live in Georgia and own all the damn fish I want. But if I live in Florida, I'm screwed. He's not, I mean, it's crazy. There's just nothing, there's no common sense to any of this at all.
And that means that, so what more do they want? Are they putting mongrel koi on there or rabid beta fish? Like what else are they trying to get at you? Like,
they're almost in the agriculture business. I mean, if they're talking to every animal, I mean, we have a cattle industry. Like, does that include? Are they going to regulate dogs and cats? Like, you want to talk about invasive animals? How many stray cats do we have everywhere? That's got to be the most invasive thing in the entire freaking world.
Yeah, dogs and cats are, they're not.
Is the cat population that bad out there like that?
Cat population, they're crazy, man. You go anywhere and see cats everywhere down here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And see the dogs.
If you want a few bits, I'll send you some.
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, yeah, I'm good. I always hear about alligators everywhere, iguanas falling out of trees. I thought maybe the cats and dogs were under control, but obviously not.
No.
Iguanas are down in Miami.
You say what?
Most of the iguanas are down in Miami.
Oh, okay. But you're saying like Florida wide cats and dogs is like the real.
Well, cats are crazy. I mean, there's some strays out there dog wise, but cats are just absolutely crazy down here. It is. I agree with Dan. They're evasive as hell, and they're not doing anything with them. I mean, it doesn't add up in my head. And it's not just you know, my dad used to keep birds and I used to keep birds. The birds are not exempt from this either.
Man,
And to Atkins' point on
they're not messing with cats because of the Netflix don't mess with cats. Apparently, apparently fish you could just do whatever you want with them. No one cares about them. Which is,
I know we go through without getting into politics, but this is about the biggest cancel culture thing I think I've ever heard. I mean, they're trying to cancel the fish culture, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Asinine, man. And I got into this hobby because I don't have to walk my fish or pick up after it or worry about it getting out of the fence, biting the neighbor. Like, yo.
Hell, they're better than kids when it comes to that.
Man, let me tell you. You know what I'm saying? If it wants to be a bad boy and jump out of its only life source tank, then it's got to flop around asking for help. Like, man, other than that, I just find them right there. Oh, God. You know what I'm saying? Like, it blows.
Dan, realistically, what is your thoughts? I mean, where do you think, if based on what you said, 16 people, what was it you said? Nobody voted for complete shutdown. 16 people, only 16 people voted for the other side of it. But then, like you said, they refused the third. Where do you really feel like, I know we think that it could go here, but where do you really feel like if 16 people, and then is it a majority thing or is it a unanimous thing when it comes to the voting?
So the voting thing, so the advisory group does nothing but advises. They have no power to do anything. All they can do is advise. And they don't actually consider the votes to be part of the advisory committee. So even though the way it worked is option one is to allow all animals in trade to keep being in trade. And 16 people voted against that option because it wasn't going to work. And 8 people voted for it. Right? So that's the majority. They disavowed this. It doesn't matter. Option 2 was unless those fish or those animals have had a risk assessment done, they wouldn't be allowed, which basically shuts off the entire industry immediately. So all 24 voted against that. So you're telling me the majority of your entire advisory group voted against both options, and you're like, you know what? We're still going to offer these as their voting options instead of what most of them recommended, which was a third option, which was an enhanced blacklist. And one of the major proponents of this was, hey, the federal U.S. Fish and Wildlife said, hey, there's a lot of problems with enforcing a whitelist. Also, FDAX, which is the Department of Ag here, is the other enforcement agency. They should be at the table for these discussions because they also enforce aquaculture rules. Because if you don't include them, which they're not because they don't recognize them as a jurisdiction here, you'll be duplicating rules for different things. And it's going to create a lot of confusion amongst farmers and this and that. And then everything. But as far as where I see it going, I think they're going to get a whitelist because that's what they want. And unless you got a lot of money to blow on a whitelist and fighting it, then when I say a lot of money, it's probably into the millions. I don't know how many millions, but it's definitely up there. I'd say 2 to 5, if I'm being honest. And it's not like this is it's not like it's not like I got a mansion over here. Like these people, we do all this because we love it. We're not making hundreds of millions of dollars. We're making a livelihood. We're making a living at this.
Yeah.
So I don't see that works very well, but
all of that is going right back into the hobby, right back into the business, right? To continue to keep people's tanks full, to continue to keep retail, selling, and of a hobby that's been on a down end. You know what I'm saying? We're getting more people in the hobby trying to get this thing back to something that can be, layered and back out there in the mass amounts of people and stuff like that. But, chopping us off right at the leg and we only got a torso, like, come on, bro. Like what are we talking about here?
Well, look at the Atkins mentioned it earlier in the other comment. Hey, how many species has Florida aquacultured and raised that are extinct in other places of the world? I don't know the number, but I bet it's at least over 50. The only one that really comes to mind that's in trade is the bleaker eye, the Paratilapia, the pollinized cichlid.
This one I got right here. That's a
The Starry Night. Starry Night, yeah.
Right behind my shoulder, man.
That's a big Florida raised fish. That fish is basically extinct in Madagascar. Like, I'm sure there's others, and I'm sure at the hobbyist level there's tons of people who participate in the CARES project or CARES species, where they're trying to breed fish and keep them alive where they're going extinct in different places of the world. Yeah. Those fish wouldn't be able to come into the world anymore. Wouldn't be able to get them anymore. So that's a whole nother idea. And yeah, Atkins, the risk assessment is $10K per species and takes anywhere between 6 and 12 months is what we were told. Well, put that against 20 to 30,000 species, we're probably looking at decades. Decades to get them all a risk assessment.
I got 2 of these bleaker eye in here, and they've been not coming to St. Louis with that BS. I mean, they get on my nerves and fight each other and everything else, but now that Florida can't have them, I'm kind of proud of them now. Hey, guys.
Hey, quit rubbing it in, biz, and set up another tank, man. 2 bleaker eye in the same tank, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, I've already look. That's all they do. The big one goes after the little one. I really do. I've got the 75 gallon. I need to go ahead and put the other one in there and let him take over something else.
Send it to me.
You want him, Garcia? I'm saying
you better get them now, because you ain't gonna be able to get them in 3 months.
Right.
Shipping for me, and I'll pay the shipping and send it.
All right. I'll send it to Garcia.
But
Garcia's half and half, so he's on black and white list. What?
Hey Dan, I didn't see the petition. Can you send me a link later to it?
Yep.
Well, look, you guys. I'm glad you guys popped up here, and honestly, I'm gonna need you guys to come back up here after they give the vote on Thursday, so you can let us know exactly what's the next moves. Because, man, Thursday, God dog, just 3 days away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan's doing all he can, man. I don't know. Is there anything that anybody in other states can do? Do we need? Is there a number? Is there something?
Not yet. I'll probably have more information on Friday. So when I got my estimates of what we could do to challenge this, it's really just legal battle. The legal cost for this is about $200,000.
Holy moly.
So, my thought was if I got all the state stores in the state involved, we could pull our resources together and probably fight it. So I'll probably, depending on how well and how far I go and how many stores want to be involved, I'm going to make a vote for all the stores I've already contacted on Thursday after the meeting and say, hey, this is what we're looking at. Do we want to go forward with this? And are you willing to put up that kind of money? And then we'll probably find a way to make some sort of donation page or offer discounts to our stores in place of that. Something that kind of involves people where they get a little bit of something where they can donate $5 or $10 here or there. That might help fight our legal battle, because I know we have 21 days from that ruling to get everything in place. So I'm hoping I'll have everything done by that Monday in place, and we can figure out what our best case scenario is.
Yeah. Atkins says, how did the hobby not know about this sooner? That scares me.
I don't know if the hobby knew. It's been around. The topic's been thrown around quite a lot lately, but the last commission meeting, they really pushed for some rules.
I almost remember you talking about this when we either had you on the hotspot or when I was just doing a talk with you when we were just talking. You were saying that it was supposed to be something, and then it kind of just flew off, just down. You too.
Dan, was this always state? Was this always stateside, or was it the Lacey Act too? That was federal.
So this is only stateside. So when the Lacey Act failed at the federal level, the state side failed. Oh, I'm sorry. When the federal side failed, the state started picking up rules like this, and Florida, whatever reason, has decided they're going to pick it up.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know what, Dan? I appreciate all you're doing for the hobby single-handedly, man.
Yeah.
And everything that you're trying to get done there in Florida single-handedly. You've got your own stuff to protect. You know what I'm saying? But if it could get heard by the people that also have to protect their stuff, hopefully maybe the advisory board could do for one more push, or something like that, to see if he could just if we can get some sense into this and not make it political, but think about people's lives and livelihood and the lives of nature and biology and ecosystem and all the stuff that it has to deal with.
Yeah.
Go ahead and ramp up the blacklist and just add some more stuff on there, but don't just mess up the balance of everything. Like, just screw it all the way to the ground and just F up an industry. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
I just think it scares me, the amount of people that are going to go into bankruptcy for stuff like this. And the things that really concern me is, you got to think about it. Florida farms that raise fish like this are, kind of special people. Like, this is what they've been taught to do. It's a generational thing. This is all they do.
Yeah.
So if you go and say you can't raise any more fish, like, what are they supposed to do? These guys are in their upper 50s, lower 60s. They don't have enough. They can't go out and go get another job. This is their life. Yeah. And now they have nothing to do or nothing to sell, and they have nothing left.
Now they got to go.
And that's
giant salamanders and trade them. Like,
yeah. So what are they? Yeah.
It's
so
not that easy to just go and flip out. Somewhere. Yeah, you're right.
Can you imagine starting a new job at 58, 59, 60 years old, saying, I got to start a whole new job with no skill in that job at all? That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Peas and hats. Why is there not a public referendum on this in Florida? And Gina also adds, if it passes in Florida, other states could possibly be doing it too.
100%.
Yep.
Right.
Florida will not be the only state that passes something similar.
What can you see happening? What's the next big state you can see it happening in? Where else is there?
I don't know.
Big problem.
I don't know. I haven't heard that there's a whitelist proposal in other states other than maybe, I'm not political, but a lot of the bluer states I could see passing white lists. If California passes one, which wouldn't surprise me, that would they're like the second largest importer of tropical fish. You want to talk about not having any fish? There will be nothing left if California is gone. I can tell you that right now. California brings in all the fish from Asia. They are the largest at that. You get rid of California with a whitelist, I can tell you right now, there will be slim pickings at stores.
That's wild.
There's only a few other states you can even import fish into at that point.
Does that mean that stores will probably gouge and raise prices up for people or bidding wars and all this craziness?
I don't know. I mean, demand will show. If there's demand for it, your price will definitely go up. But I think at some point, people will be, what I think is going to happen is they're like, well, I don't have that much variety to pick from anymore. I'm just going to go do something else. And I think it just kills the industry as a whole. That's how I see it. Like, I don't think you're going to raise the price high, very, very high, because people will be like, no, I'm good. Like, could you imagine paying $13 for like one female coal grade guppy?
Dog,
no one's buying that, man. They're not going to think it's not a cheap hobby anymore.
No, and it's frustrating. Like I said, I mean, it's not my livelihood, but I've got probably $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 of stuff tied up that you get, like you said. I mean, this whitelist passed, and he can't sell me fish, or nobody else can sell me fish, and I can't keep them. What am I going to do with $7,000 worth of stuff? I mean, one of them really breaks my heart because the one behind me, my dad left me an inheritance to buy that tank. That's what I got to remember my dad by. And the freaking state's going to take it away from me potentially.
Look at that. And then that's exactly what Dan was saying. It's inherited. It's generational. This is things that we can continue to pass on through time, and it could be timeless. It could continue to do this. It could flourish with your children. It could flourish with your spouses. It could flourish with different things and the ideas and the way. And it messes me up because I have gotten classrooms full of students to get into this thing because of the variety and the species and the things that they can possibly get. Hell, Dan supplied my whole classroom at the beginning of the year this year. You know what I'm saying? From Florida and his connections that he has in bringing these fish in. Like, what I got to tell him now? Go get some mud guppies up out of the water. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, it's nobody's thinking about any of this stuff and how, like you said, Dan, it's going to affect people. You know, I mean, from the business and the livelihoods. You know, I got a guy up the street, Sickly Express, same thing as you, second generational fish farmer. You know, it's all he's known, and you know, and it's just crazy, man, crazy.
And you know, I'm just trying to do my part and get this out of here. After Dan had said that's all 616 people that are in here tonight, man, that came to listen, minus the 600.
Well, anybody's got YouTube channels and they got them, man. They need to be pushing this out, man. Let's, you know, help us save it down here in Florida.
It's real talk, real talk. Thursday, God, 3 freaking days. That just it's too close.
I'll find the link for the live stream of the meeting. You can kind of see like where you can see just the attitude where they don't really care about other people's opinions.
Hey, send me the link and I'll see if I can stream it on my live on Thursday.
Nice.
I'll go live and stream it and see what we got.
That sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, you hear that? You hear that, everybody, man? We're gonna see if we can live stream it on Thursday. We get it from Dan and just hear from the horse's mouth what they're really gonna do about this white list that they're trying to infringe on Florida aquatics and reptiles too, right?
This is everything. Every animal.
All animals.
Birds, everything.
Any pet you want. Probably not dog and cat, but everybody else.
Yeah. Yep. Cats and dogs are the only thing left off the list.
Jeez. I got any mods in that could put up Dan's links? If not, Dan, where you at? Let people know where you're at.
Find me at I don't know. I haven't done any content in so long. Aquarium Insider is my YouTube handle. I also got an Instagram. I'll probably be streaming or doing something from there too. I think the streaming idea is kind of interesting. I wonder how many people we could get to stream that live stream at one time. How many different YouTubers, how many different businesses, how many different places streaming what's going to happen in Florida. I think if you got that much publicity out on this one thing, I think that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows.
That'd be all right. Cool. If you get the link, send it on through, man, and I'll see. How can I project? I'll figure it out. We'll get it together.
Man, we need to get it over to Corey and Ben and see if those guys will run it.
Excuse me. Yeah, you know what? I know I have maybe John's number. I have Primetime Aquatics number. Maybe they're interested in even though they're not there, they probably will see the importance of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It starts at 9 a.m., I believe, on Thursday.
Say it again?
I think it starts at 9 a.m. on Thursday.
Okay.
As long as their agenda holds true, I will tell I've heard from a handful of people that they're expecting a lot of pushback from this, which is rightfully so. I hope they don't, but apparently some rumors around is that they're going to try to push through the first day quickly to get that thing on the agenda on the first day, the last thing on the first day versus the first thing on the last day. It's a 2-day meeting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if they're scheduled at 9 a.m. and they can run through the agenda items, they would actually be at 4 the first day. So all the people showing up on Thursday wouldn't even get to talk or do anything. I heard that's a possibility, which would not surprise me in the slightest. And the issue with this is I was talking with maybe I'll try to get them to come on the stream one time. You should have them. They run something called the Pet Advocacy Network. They basically represent basically the pet industry as a whole. They would be very good contacts for stuff like this and everything. So we're seeing.
Man. Well, I guess we got to lay in waiting.
Yeah.
See what happens, and hopefully we'll cross our fingers for the best, man. And hopefully we can continue with this hobby and keep the fish that we want to keep. And just go ahead and put whatever it is that you want on there. You don't have to take out the whole stuff and come up in people's houses with the F-ish. Like, come on. Gina,
Yeah.
I'll do it when I rewatch it on YouTube. I can't do it from StreamYard. Patty, get off my mic. All right, I appreciate you guys for showing up, man. Thank you guys so much. Everybody in the chat, man. I'm gonna send you guys out of here, not the way you came, man. But I really appreciate Dan for coming up, Jerry for coming up, and of course Garcia Aquatics for coming up. Very great stream, very interesting, and you know, I'm riding with you, Dan. I'm riding with the hobby. I'm riding with the fish lovers, the animal lovers, all over, man. Because this really, if it's affecting all, it's gonna affect me, it's going to affect you, it's going to affect all the people, man. Like, people need their hobbies, people need their animals. They're more than just whatever these people think they are. Like, you can't,
they're not expendable.
Yeah, exactly. People pay good money for what they love and what they like. You know, you might as well take away a car lover's cars, or you know what I'm saying, burger lovers burger. Like, come on, man. Like, do what we, you know, make this happen, man. So we'll see Thursday. Get us the links and we got what we going on. Garcia, last thoughts.
Just imagine what will happen if this happens. How about for the aqua shell in Daytona?
Yeah,
they have nothing over there.
Yeah, man. Look, the fish festivals, the clashes, what are we going to be looking at? The same fish in 28, 30, 58 tanks or something like that at these things? Like, are they going to
if there's anybody even left?
Yeah. All right. Are we going to be able to fund these things? Like, it's oh man, it's crazy. This is crazy.
Yep.
I'm glad you were able to shine a little light on the subject, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Man. I appreciate you having me, man. It was good.
I am going to everybody, if you guys can, share this link, share this this video, very important topic, and let people at least watch this first 15, 20 minutes so and Dan explained so greatly exactly what this thing means to you as a hobbyist, to you as a pet owner, to you as an animal lover. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Busy Fish Chat. I know this was a short one, but we'll get back to the fun stuff after we can get our animals back in our tanks. Jeez. Like, seriously. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, man, for having me on, Biz. Appreciate
it. For sure.
All right.
Later. Had a good time. Appreciate it.
You guys have a good one.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, people, let's get you guys up out of here. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you all for everything that you've done and sharing and everything else. Send you out of here, not the way you came in. One more time, the best stuff is the wet stuff. The wet stuff is the best stuff right here. Fishy Biz Aquatics. See you next Monday.